off though and introduce it and everything.
Oh, I will.
And you're introducing the people and I'm talking, but I don't have any files. Oh, thanks.
Make sure you pull it shamelessly.
Again, riders, let's clear the course, please. Let's clear the course.
Okay, we need another copy. We're doing the TV, and they do it for on air Print them off, and then come on up, and then you can put them in order when you're up there. Okay, thanks.
Oh, yeah. So ready.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting set for our $42,000 CSI 3-star Maui Gym Open Welcome Jumper class presented by Overseas Horse Services. At this time, we'd ask you to please all rise. As joining us here, two representatives from the West Coast Thunder out of Langley, British Columbia, with the flag presentation for our American and, of course, Canadian flags and national anthems.
Is it really? How long? Check. Test.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's please rise and welcome our flag bearers from the West Coast Thunder for our national anthems.
Will we hear it in the other one? We're trying to talk to you.
This is your play-by-play headset.
Oh, okay.
Do that.
And our anthems are done. Lynn Massick. I'm Chris Pack here at Thunderbird Show Park. We're just a few moments away from starting the first of our FEI classes, and we're going to do the Canadian National Anthem, followed by the American. And we're back here at Thunderbird Show Park. I'm with Lynn
Beautiful
Massick.
afternoon for show jumping.
Beautiful
as we'd like to
afternoon
thank
here,
Maui
5
Gym and,
p.m.
of course,
start,
Overseas Horse.
Pacific Local Time. This is the first of the 3 FEI classes here at Thunderbird to open the West Coast League of the new FEI Longines World Cup League, North America, jumping. Welcome to Langley. For those of us, I'm Chris Pack, and I'm with Lynn Massick here. Lynn, how does the course look? And give us a little bit of overview while we wait for the first horse.
It's quite a nice course Alan Wade's designed here today, Chris. 84-second time allowed, a few double combinations. There's a couple little tests on the course. Should be a nice welcome for these riders to get going for the week.
The first one is entered the ring. We're looking at Cornander and Ashley Bond. Ashley came from California, qualified for the World Cups a few years back, competed in Germany, and this is a new ride for her here at Thunderbird.
And this is a 9-year-old gray mare by Cornet Oblensky, and we all know Cornet Oblensky sure can jump, so sometimes they get number 8, a big boxer away from the in-gate. Sometimes they'll stall up thinking they're finished. Just got to ride a little bit in that 2-stride combination. Handles that with no problem at all. Another combination on the course. I'd say she's cantering along quite well. I don't think time's going to be a factor for her as well. We're into the last line. This is a 4-stride line, nice vertical. Oh, and just an infinite rope behind there. And then this last jump's a little bit of an interesting approach. I feel like this jump might fall down a little bit today, Chris.
Well, it's the one rail, like you mentioned, at the Longines vertical, 79.66 for Ashley Bond. Or answer our first rider reference time there. Didn't look like she had too much difficulty with anything but that light rub there.
I think it's almost a little bit of an unlucky rail for her, but a nice course to get since the age of 17.
Their last campaign was in the meter 45 FEI section at Spruce Meadows, and they were in the ribbon. So Ray's always wanted to be competitive. See if he can come out on top of him this class.
No problem at all as he's turning the corner here. He's taking some corners a little bit wide, Chris, so I am going to be a little bit concerned about his time allowed here on the course today.
Now, do you think some of them are using this as a warm-up for Friday's class?
Absolutely. Absolutely they are. Friday and Sunday, I think everyone's getting a little bit prepared, but it's nice for the horses to be able to come in, jump a nice class, have a look at the ring, the surroundings, and get a little feel for the footing.
Many of these riders who haven't been here before, there is a lot to see with all the beautiful signage around the ring.
Absolutely, and sometimes you just never know when your horse might just take exception to something along the side, so it's nice for them to have a little look and get used to it. You could see when he came down the line to the skinny vertical, he did add an extra stride there.
That might cost him with his time. He is at 60 seconds already heading into the final double.
No problem at all with those double combinations, though. The mare's jumping quite nicely for him today. Rounding the corner to the 4-stride. Beside the water, none of the horses have taken any exception to the water either. The pink oxer there is quite near the water, so you never know if something has a bit of a water issue, they might look at it.
And he actually was very efficient after the double to
wow.
the next Longines fence.
There
he
we
made up
go.
some
There's
time,
our jump off.
guaranteeing us a jump off 80.85 for Baldira and Raymond Texel. We will see them back later on in this program.
So 2 Californians, Chris.
They always do well when the sun's out here at Thunderbird.
It is a beautiful day here at Thunderbird Show Park.
We got number 6 in our order thus far, Rainland WH Luxury and Audra Fleck Schneider, another rider from the United States. This time just a little bit south of the border from Woodinville, Washington.
And Lux is a 11-year-old gelding by Lux Z, and he's a Canadian warm blood. Robert Fleck, which is Audra's father, actually owns the horse. And Audra's been just moving up to the Grand Prix levels with this horse, so I suspect she'll be hoping for a nice solid performance so she can continue on the week showing him.
Yeah, one of her first entries in the Grand Prix level with this horse was this past summer at the Western Family, where she was 7th in that class. That'd be a meter 40 Grand Prix at most, so this would be a step up for her.
A little bit of a step up, and she'll be looking for a good performance. So far, looking quite good, covering the width of the CWD oxer with no problem at all. A little bit of an argument. This horse can get a little bit strong with her, and she's often trying different bridles so she can sort of manage him and still get the scope she needs out of him and the carefulness.
I guess if they're a new combination, that just comes with the territory, kind of trying trial and error with bits and bridles.
And he's had a bit of a problem with a broken jaw as well in his past, so Audra's overcoming a few things here today. And here we go, second combination, and then the nice bending line up to the FEI third combination on the course. And I'd say her time's looking pretty good, Chris.
Coming over the last, Noel Asmar Oxer.
And then again, just a little bit, you see the riders and horses zigzagging a little bit here to this last jump. Just a little bit of a tricky approach and a little rub, but she leaves it up. There we go. She's going to be absolutely thrilled with that, Chris.
And you can tell she has a big smile on the face of Audra Fleck. 80.42 on Rainland WH Luxury. That's a clear round, and we will see her later, bringing 3 back in our jump off in our Maui Gym Open Welcome.
She'll be a fun one to watch in the jump off. She'll definitely be going for it.
Looking to join the drawing list, we welcome the first of 2 rides for professional Richard Spooner. American rider here aboard number 936, the Holsteiner.
All right, and our 7th in the order is Cristallo, ridden by Richard Spooner. Cristallo is a 17-year-old bay gelding by Caratino. It's a Holstein, so it's a little bit older horse, Chris, here today that Richard competes on. And
Cristal's had many, many victories. Obviously, Spruce Meadows and all across Europe and in Canada as well. And you know, Cristallo is either on or sometimes he's off. And we're really excited to have Richard up here. He's won a few Grand Prix here. He's made the cover of the magazine. Spooner gets there sooner, so usually time isn't a problem with Richard.
No, and I'd say he's just going to have a nice cruise around on Cristallo, but I'll tell you, if he makes it into the jump off, there'll be no riding for second place with Richard today.
There's definitely another gear that he'll find then.
And I'd say he's just cruising him around to get him ready to go on Sunday. Really nice ride, very careful jump on the horse's part there at the skinny. Again, turning right by the in gate, away, jumping the oxer. A little bit of a rub on the back rail there. Sometimes the horses get very distracted by that back gate. They're thinking they're of their way out.
How wide is the oxer?
It said that the oxers are all 1.55 wide, so it poses enough of an effort away from the gate. The horses have to keep their motor going, their engines up.
Again, looks like his time is fine, approaching the last fence.
Again, just a little bit there, a little bit of a waver, just a little bit of a funky angle there. There we go.
Another
There's
clear
another
round.
One, 4th one for the jump off.
79.86. Richard Spooner, Cristallo. Done that many times in their career, gone clean in the first round. We'll look for them to be one to contend with in the jump off.
Well, and that so far is the fastest round that we've seen today that's clear. So, you know what that'll mean for the jump off.
And we welcome in our first Canadian on course this evening, Ben Aslan aboard Plume de la Roque.
And Plume de la Roque is a bay 12-year-old mare by Cannon. Again, fantastic show jumping breeding. Ben's a fairly new partner with this horse, so I'd say he'd be using this class to get to know her a little bit more. He's shown her in the international ring at Spruce Meadows a little bit this summer after he's got the ride on her, and this will be his first time showing her here at Thunderbird Show Park.
Now, I noticed that Norman De La Joya has been with Ben. Is he now kind of training him full-time?
He's helping him out a little bit when he can and when they can make it all work together. They're quite a good team, so it's nice for Ben to have Norman up helping him. There, really no problem at all with that 5 stride. He's being fairly efficient about his time, I think. Chris there jumps the Liverpool really nicely. A little bit, had to step up down the hill in the 6th there. Mare covers that double. Being a little bit careful here to the skinny.
A lot of them seem to back off a little bit, kind of. Is it heading into the Jumbotron or the tent, or is it just the skinny?
I think just everyone's being a little bit careful at the skinny there. They're really not wanting to to hit that down, to start their week off by hitting down the skinny. This mare's jumping this course very easily as she's cantering to the last double combination on the course. Just stepping around this, looking like a very nice warm-up for this pair.
You know, Ben's one of those young riders, but quite mature. He was part of the BMO Nations Cup winning team at Spruce Meadows for the Masters with Team Canada.
Ben's very talented. He's had very great support, and he's turned into quite a great rider. Oh, see, there's that last jump I was talking about. He was getting so excited, and that awkward approach just got him at the last jump.
Just didn't really square up, unfortunately. The last rail down. Had a great time, 78.39. Unfortunately, the one rail will keep our lone Canadian thus far out of the jump off.
Still, I think you'll be happy with that, and we'll see that pair back again this weekend, Chris.
See, looking at the replay there, going through the double, no problem.
Oh.
And one of our favorite horses to show here at Thunderbird, Rich Fellers aboard Flexible. Flexible, obviously one of the best-known horses in the North American show jumping scene. Many, many victories, and obviously with his World Cup winning performance a few years back.
Flexible and Rich are an unbelievable partnership together. Flexible is by the great stallion, Irish Stallion Cruising. He's 19 years old, so still to be competing at this level, Chris, is amazing. And we always hope for the best for Flexible. He's always my pick.
2012 Horse of the Year. That was an amazing year. He won all the trials, USEF Horse of the Year as mentioned, and the World Cup finals in the Netherlands.
This horse always tries. I don't think there's ever a day that this horse comes out to compete that he doesn't give it his all, and Cruisings are really known for that. It's just an amazing effort. They really just like their job, and they like to go jump. And this horse and Rich, they're, like I said, quite a team, and they know each other better than, I'd say, probably anybody else in the field. I'd say this is probably the best known team to each other. No problem with the Liverpool. And the rhythm down the hill to the Longines double was picture perfect. As he's cantering to the skinny, you can see he's not really going to interrupt the horse. He's just going to let him find that skinny and jump it on his own.
Rich riding with his forward style technique, he's quite known for.
Works really well for him in this horse. It's more aerodynamic, Chris. That must be why he goes so fast.
He's looking good out there. No problems across 9A or B.
And just walks over that double combination of 10 AB. Heading to the four stride, like again we said, just slightly down the hill. Bigger effort at the pink oxer, and then let's see him get squared up here to this last vertical.
He kind of got square a little further back than some of the others, and it
Yay,
paid off.
There we go.
Yep. 79.23, another one going to the jump off. One of our favorites, Flexible, and Rich Fellers from the United States of America.
Rich will be thrilled with that. Flexi will be happy with that. He'll be coming back with some speed in the jump off.
And we welcome in another American giving her salute in our Maui Gym open welcome. This is Von Architect, Francie Seibel Carvin. Francie's a professional rider from the United States, as mentioned. Southern California is her base. She has come up here prior to work with Julia Tops, but this is her first time bringing some of her Grand Prix mounts.
And this is a Bay 12-year-old, and this horse is actually owned by Silver Star Farms, which is Canadian-owned. Brenda Burdell owns this horse, and Brenda's just recently married, so she's going to be away, so I think Francie got the ride on this horse.
Francie had multiple Grand Prix wins under her belt. She won't say how many or how old her belt is, but did say she has won the Maclay finals back in the dinosaur age.
Francie's very well known. She's an excellent competitor. She's going to always give it her all.
She was a little sad that this wasn't a costume class because she said those are her favorite. But and you can see with her blazer, she is a Just World ambassador, which is an amazing cause. And Just World International, led by Jessica Newman and her great staff, are a partner of Longines as well. They're great supporters of her cause.
Oh, I was just going to say how well this horse was jumping for, and just got there a little bit quick at the skinny, not exactly where she wanted to, and you could see her turn her head, and it fell just as she had thought it did. This horse jumps fantastic for her, though. I think we'll see a lot more of them this week.
First time that the skinny came down, otherwise not really any issues going along.
And I don't think she's going to have any trouble at all with the time.
Nope, she's quite efficient, 65 heading into over the Longines fence.
Horse covers the ground very nicely, and here she comes again. You can just see a little bit. They all get a little on their right rein coming to this last jump. That's too bad about the skinny because that was really a lovely round.
It is 77.99. She had a great time, and as Lynn said, a beautiful round. Other than first one to take down our skinny, so 4-fault score for Francie Stuyvesant, Carvin, and Vaughn Architect.
Fastest of the 4 falters, Chris, so that'll still keep her on the leaderboard for a little while.
12th in our field of 34, we welcome the Dude, Will Simpson from the United States of America.
It's got to be one of the best names we're going to see today, Chris, the Dude. And the Dude is owned by Monarch International. Will's had much success with this horse in Thermal, California this year, all through the Pacific Northwest showing this horse in Grand Prix.
Yeah, as you mentioned down in Thermal, there were 6 major Grand Prix weeks. He actually won 5 of them. So he was on a roll, and I know that they've been going back and forth to Europe, so he actually just came back, and so hopefully jet lag doesn't catch up with him here.
I'd say he'll be ready for the day, Chris. That number 2 jumping to the corner really hasn't posed any problems at all for anybody today.
No, and you know, speaking with Alan, he thought that he would bury that deep just because the new Jumbotron in the corner, the large signage, he thought that might pose something that the horses take a look at it and just take their eye off the rail.
Really very nice effort on the horse's part through the Longines double there. And again, just kind of letting the horse canter down to that skinny and read it and jump it very nicely.
You can see his time coming around the corner was about 42 seconds, so 10 seconds ahead of the last person who had time fault. So he looks like he's managing the time quite well.
Nice and straight through 9AB. He's always very efficient with the time. You can see he takes the most efficient track everywhere. This horse is really hitting the lights, Chris. It's putting in a lot of effort for today.
Over the Longines vertical and the Noel Asmar equestrian Oxer onto the last fence.
There we go, and look at that time. Very nice clear round. Another one for the jump off.
Will Simpson and the Dude will be joining us, 79.15. That makes 6 coming back in our second round of competition here at the Maui Gym Open Welcome. The first of our FEI events in our Longines FEI North American World Cup Jumping Langley League.
And it'll be setting up to be an excellent jump off, Chris.
Yes.
It's setting up to be a very fast jump off. You're going to need to have your jets on to come back tonight.
And we welcome our second Canadian back, hometown girl Laura Jane Tidball on Prim de la Road.
And Prim's a 12-year-old gelding, French bred. LJ was telling me yesterday that his mother was actually a French trotter. So if you ever see this horse trot, he has a very interesting trot.
I thought you were talking about LJ's mother, Jane Tidball, my boss, so I'm not going to comment on her trotting.
I don't think Jane's going to trot around too much, Chris.
I don't think so. Obviously, this is LJ's home park. Does that help her at all with this? I mean, or is it really at this level? The horses, doesn't matter where they're competing. They know what job they're doing.
I think this horse is very keen about his job. He really likes his job. It's obviously nice to always compete in your own backyard. And Prim and LJ have jumped many tracks in this specific arena with a lot of success and a lot of Grand Prix victories. So we're really hoping for a good day for LJ here today.
LJ works with her aunt and uncle, Brent and Laura Beliski. Their show stables is literally about 5 minutes away from Thunderbird Show Park, so they're frequent visitors here.
Prim's looking quite ready for the day. He's looking a little feisty, arguing with LJ a little bit around the corners, but sure putting in the effort he needs to at the jump so far, Chris.
LJ spent 1 week at Summer Series in Spruce Meadows and competed and placed in the meter 45 division there.
They're quite a partnership. She's had Prim for a few years now. She's really getting to know him, and they're certainly making this course look easy so far.
And obviously you know LJ and Prim quite well, seeing them compete many times during the summer. Is there anything out here that you think would be a tricky test for them.
It was really nice that he jumped the skinny as careful as he did. Oh, and then just that second double. Just sometimes the horses aren't quite ready for a double combination, and he just got a little bit distracted, maybe argued with her a little bit in front of that.
Yeah, it looked a little flat jumping over it.
And just shifted a little bit, I think, on her and just touched that rail for 4 faults.
LG's a fierce competitor, so she's not going to be happy with this result.
No, but I bet you we'll see her back again on Friday and Sunday, Chris.
So just the one rail down as mentioned in the 10A. Otherwise, a good time, 82.81 for Primdala Road and Laura Jane Tidball.
Nice big pats. Still happy, LJ.
And welcome back. And rider that we saw going first. Let's try to do a clear round out of her second ride. This is Ashley Bond aboard Ace of Hearts.
And Ace of Hearts is an 8-year-old bay gelding by Ace. 8's fairly young to be competing at this level. I think she's just probably stepped up in the last year or so to this level with this horse. So there'll be a nice track for this combination, and we'll see how they do here. She's a little bit wide in her turn here to number 2, maybe giving him a little bit longer time to have a look at it. This horse has quite great technique and really seems to get up in the air over the jumps.
And Ashley, for quite a young rider, has quite a resume of competing. She's been on Nations Cup. She obviously did World Cup finals, as mentioned. She won the recently a 2-star Grand Prix in Opeglique in Belgium, and 5th in the Grand Prix of the World Cup finals in Lyon, France in 2004.
See, the horse got to be there a little closer than it wanted to, but it sure does find a way to get its legs out of the way so far, Chris. It's got a bit of an interesting technique.
Just a little guy. His barn named Spike. He's got some feisty to him. Ashley works well with her dad, Steve Bond, and he does a lot of the training on the ground, and he says some days Spike just wants to fight, and some days he's just...
It's probably why his name's Spike.
Yeah, I assume so.
Oh, and just, again, Ashley, she's just had a little bit of bad luck with the horse's hind ends just touching rails for her today.
Rail coming down on B of 10. Coming through Noel Asmar Oxer, coming to the last fence now. Time's not an issue.
Spike looks a little feisty today, so hopefully this will get a little juice out of him and be more settled and ready for Friday.
Unfortunately, though, just the one rail there at 10B. 4 faults to score for Ace of Hearts, a.k.a. Spike, and Ashley Bond from the United States of America.
Quite a fast time for her today.
Yes, speed is always on the forefront for Ashley. Never really accepts time faults.
No, she wouldn't.
And we welcome in our next competitor from Canada, Alicia Edgar. Cipollini de Vasco.
And Chip is a bay 13-year-old gelding, again by Darko. So again, there's the Darko. Really good show jumping lines of breeding. And Alicia's had this horse for a few years. And when she first got this horse, she wasn't sure she was going to ever be able to create a partnership with him. He was a little bit difficult. And interesting fact is he doesn't have his bottom jaw.
So how would that affect what bit they're using?
It was a bit tricky for Alicia to find a bit and bridle that worked for this horse. You'll often see her riding this one in a hackamore because his mouth doesn't quite work like everybody else's. But like she said, she wanted to try because she thought he could jump anything. And she's had quite a lot of success with him the last few years, winning a few local Grand Prix around Alberta and stepping up to this level with quite good success through Thermal, California and the May Horse Show here.
Yeah, exactly. She was 6th in the $100,000 World Cup class in 2014 here. And 5th in the $75,000 Grand Prix at Thermal during the Sunshine Tour in November.
She's sure making this horse look a lot easier than he did. Nice, very nice reading of the skinny vertical by both of them.
Alicia runs Valleyfield Farms, which is a boarding and training facility, but spend a lot of time in Southern California working with Joey Gatlin. She's helped her out a lot, she says.
Ooh, and a little rub there at B. Let's hope that reminds Chip to pick his feet up through this double. Oh, and a little rub in front. Okay, she should be. Oh, goodness, she almost turned the wrong way. Hopefully that doesn't cost her on the time faults. She got a bit distracted by those 2 rubs and almost forgot where she was going.
Time may play an issue coming to the last fence, 78. She's going to have to squeeze a little bit here to make it under.
Oh, shoot.
And that distraction, as you mentioned, the wave after 10B is coming back to haunt her. 85.07, one-time penalty for Alicia Edgar.
And
Those are
1 second, that's just so frustrating. I mean, she'd be happy by the effort she put out, but she's going to be quite mad at herself
Yeah.
that she zigzagged up at the top of the ring there, Chris.
Alicia looks pretty happy. Sometimes she doesn't take mistakes too personally. I think that'll be something that she can build on going forward in this week.
Absolutely.
So Carl Cook back with his second ride, riding for the United States of America, this time aboard Tembla.
And Tembla's a 14-year-old chestnut mare. It's a Zangerzide.
Carl's an interesting guy. He's always busy on the Grand Prix circuit. He has stallions, and he also has his own clothing line, so he's always quite fashion forward when he's in the ring.
I think he's had a few Grand Prix wins on this horse as well. Tembla being 14, I think they have quick. Again, jumping into the corner. It's interesting to watch the different reactions of the horses jumping into the corner. Tembla had no problem there. Nice gallop up there to the CWD Oxer, meter 55 wide. Turn to the meter 45 Liverpool. Again, the Liverpool I'm not sure has even fallen down once yet, Chris. Even with the Liverpool pushed quite far back, I think the horses are all reading that quite well and down to the Longines. And
yeah, a lot of them are taking that corner quite wide, and maybe that's they're taking a direct approach to it. It's not really tricking anybody.
oh, and a little rub on the back rail. The Oxer away from the end gate got a little bit stuck. Easy through the two strides of 9AB. The FEI double. Nice effort by Tembla there. We're going to turn to the final line again. Carl's time is looking just fine. He's staying fairly efficient. I think he's looking to win this class. You'd like to have a few in the jump off today, Chris.
Well, his odds just got better. 75.06, but more importantly, no faults at all for Tembla and Carl Cook from the United States of America. We will see him twice in the jump off. He's going to get a good paycheck and some nice ribbons. Carl giving his chestnut a pat. And Ben bringing his second ride. Today we welcome in Doremi. Ben Aston from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
And Doremi is a gray 12-year-old by Kidam de Revel, owned by Linda Southern Heathcott. Again, a relatively new partnership for Ben. He hasn't had this horse for too long, but he's had great success with it and speaks very highly of it.
I feel like you should sing the name of this horse when you announce it.
I don't think you should sing.
Okay.
Oh.
Now a kick out. It's the first time 3 has come down.
That was a very unfortunate rail for Ben to have. He's being very enthusiastic with his hind end today, Chris.
Yeah, unfortunately a little too. Bringing 3 down early in the course. It's the first time that a rail has come down that early. So for the rest, will Ben just be setting himself up for Friday, from knowing that he's not going to be in the jump off?
Absolutely. Just having a nice cruise around. Again, letting the horse see the ring. Jump a few of the jumps. Hopefully not listening to you sing. As we turn here to the final combination on the course. And it's really unfortunate because now the horse has settled down and
Yeah.
is jumping quite nicely, making this course look very easy today. I think Alan's tricking them. I think he's going to set them up, and this weekend's going to get a whole lot tougher.
He's going to lull them to sleep in this one.
This is all very pleasant and nice today.
Well, as an open welcome, that's what you expect. Alan Wade knows what he's doing. 4 faults, unfortunately. The first one coming down at 3 at the puzzle jump for Do-Re-Mi and Ben Asselin, 81.05.
No problem with the time, lad, and we'll definitely see Ben back this weekend.
As mentioned, Alan Wade doing the courses here this week. Coming straight off of the Dublin Horse Show, where the Irish team did an amazing job winning at home on their home turf.
Alan had excellent courses there all week as well, so I think we just see his great course designing coming through at every horse show that he's at, Chris.
Now we welcome in Car Anthony and Emma de Demiloon. Car riding for the United States of America, not too far south of the border as well. again from Woodinville, Washington. Cara is a trainer, rider, Plot Creek Meadow Farm. She's a busy lady. She has to juggle her own Grand Prix horses with all the equitation, hunter, jumper clients that she has in her barn. They always bring a full barn to every horse show they go to.
And this is a 9-year-old mare, so not very old. It's Cardento Darko breeding, so yet again, some more fabulous breeding for the show jumping world. And we'll just see how Cara does here today with this horse.
And she's kind of moved up rapidly this summer, starting at -35 mid-summer and then going to -40 Grand Prix in July. So this is pretty good escalation for her, this partnership.
And so far, the mare looks like she's handling this course just fine. Cara looks like she rides her lovely. They're an excellent partnership here, heading to the Longines double. And just easily cantering down to the skinny. Excellent measurement on both their parts. Horses sure like the footing here, Chris. They're all leaving the ground with nice effort. And
yeah, the maintenance crew do an amazing job. It's quite a program between shows to get it prepped for the 2 weeks of showing. A lot of rounds in this ring prior. You wouldn't know it. Ellen Wade does an amazing job as well, getting the jumps in the right spots and not overusing certain areas.
Here she is, turning to the last line on the course, cantering down the hill, the 4 strides to the Asmar Oxer. Coming in the difficult approach to the last jump, and there we go.
Oh, Carl will be happy with that.
Very happy.
Clean round, 81.07. Another American in the jump off, Cara Anthony.
So 8 so far, Chris. This is really shaping up to be a excellent horse race in the jump off.
Yeah, Alan thinking that, just because the test wasn't going to be a height thing, he thinks that there will be multiple numbers in the jump off between 10 to 12, maybe up to 14, just depending as he saw this class of field. They don't get a feel for them the first day when they build an open welcome. Friday and Sunday he'll watch them throughout the week and know more of the caliber to build for.
And we're on the 21st horse, Chris. This is Zanzibar, gray 11-year-old stallion by Berlin.
This is Tanya Leverchek from the United States aboard, as Jane said. Zanzibar is the first time competing here at Thunderbird. And a lot of these riders mentioned that they did some early classes this week, not even on these horses, but just for themselves, just to get into the ring and just to get familiar with the surroundings.
See how she handles this. Oh, and there's our number 2 jump, Chris. Jumping into that corner, the horse got a little bit distracted and just bumped the front rail down.
Yeah, from the start of the class, actually, many more spectators have kind of come on board and parking up there, and so that could be a distraction.
Absolutely. You can see he's arguing with her a little bit. I'd say he's a little bit fresh here today, happy to be out in the nice grass field. Oh, and unfortunately, you know what? Stuck a little bit at the Liverpool, didn't quite land where she wanted to, and then you could see her working really hard to try to get the 6 strides down to that oxer, and the horse was just backed off, and unfortunately, she's going to have to come around and try that combination again, Chris.
You can see the crew now rushing in. They're going to reset that as the combination goes. We might have to tape that off.
They'll fix that, and she'll come around and give that again. Probably won't be much of a problem this time. It's really too bad when you see that happen. Of course, definitely was just a little bit argumentative and a little bit distracted as she was trying to canter on and do that. Oh, and she's choosing to take the courtesy fence.
Yeah, it looks like so she is taking, she retired taking a courtesy fence just to kind of end on a better note.
And I think we'll see her back out again, Chris.
So the score of elimination for Tanya Leverchuk and Zanzibar. Now one of the riders who has a second horse, Richard Spooner, this time aboard Zaprilla M. Richard from the United States of America.
And Zaprilla's an 11-year-old stallion by Chin Chin, owned by Maxine and Robert Jack. And Richard's had this horse for a few years and jumped quite a few 145 classes on it, so he'll be hoping for an excellent result here today. This one doesn't go quite as fast as Cristallo. It's a little bit of a different type, but I think he'll be hoping for a good effort here today.
As mentioned, Richard and Cristallo already in the jump off, so this would be Richard's second ride if clean and clear. Join Carl Cook is the only one right now with dual mounts in the second round.
Zaprilla's jumped in this field a few times too, so whoops, there we go. Whoa, and had a little bit of a disagreement on the landing there. Zaprilla was going one way and Richard was going the other, but they managed to stay together, which was excellent. And now here we turn to the 5-stride line. You can see he has a little bit of a slower jump, Chris, than the last horse Richard had in this class. He has his own way of doing it, but so far so good.
Yeah, looking a little sticky off the ground there.
And jumps through the Longines double very well. See if he reads the skinny here. No problem at all there. And you see Richard keep the pace up a little bit through the turn here to this oxer away from the in-gate. Little rub there at the front rail, stays up. 7 strides. He just got there, I think, a little bit more than Richard wanted to, and he couldn't quite hold him off the front rail.
So carrying 4 faults heading into 10 A and B.
And then again, has the front rail a B down. You can just see him laying on Richard's hand a little bit. He's just pulling him a little bit past. He possibly could be a little bit fresh today, Chris. First class out of the week.
Over the Noel Asmar. Oxer carrying 8 faults, coming up to finish. And picking up another rail down. 12 faults, 3 rails down. 83.30 for Zaprilla M and Richard Spooner from the United States.
Not quite the day Richard had hoped for, but I suspect we'll see them back again this week, Chris.
And as Richard leaves, we welcome in Lori Jameson aboard KVF Zeno. Lori riding out of Edmonton, Alberta.
If you're going to get technical, she's really from Red Deer. Red Deer, Alberta. It's like the storm belt in Alberta.
Spoken by Lynn Massacre, color commentary from Alberta.
Lori's a great competitor. KVF Zeno's one of her many stallions that she has on her farm. She runs quite a big breeding operation. She just moved up in the last year with Zeno to this level. She had another stallion before that she campaigned quite a lot at this level. And Zeno actually started his career as a hunter. And he's changed gears and he's become a jumper, and she'll be hoping for the best for him today.
Now, if you're obviously bringing up young horses, you know, is that kind of, does that happen often where they start them on one side and they end up on the other?
Oh, and again, that number 2 jump just comes down, just a little bit distracted going into that corner. You just never know. You always hope for the best, and it's great that she got to bump this horse up to this level, and that was just, I think, a little bit of greediness, and he just misread that vertical a little bit. Lori sure is a tough competitor, and she works at it and works very hard, so hoping he can carry through and jump the rest of this course easily.
Looks like she's actually working quite hard during this course.
Seems like Zeno's back on track. Oh, she's adjusting her helmet there. She comes around to number 8. Make sure you can see coming to this last line here. Nice effort by Zeno through the FEI combination. You can see she's a little bit wide. Turning to the 4 stride, the 1.45 vertical jumping in. And this is quite a wide oxer jumping out. No problem there at all.
Coming home, kind of adding a stride there just to get straightened up. It'll cost them 1 time penalty as well as the 8 faults, so 9 total faults for KVF Zeno and Lori Jameson from Canada.
So I think Lori will be back later in the week, but not unhappy with that performance, Chris.
As Lori rides out, she does have a smile. We welcome back in Rich Fellers, this time aboard Colgan Cruise.
And Colgan Cruise is a 13-year-old bay mare, again by cruising. So both horses Rich has in this class are by the stallion cruising. Very different horses. Rich has been partnered with Colgan Cruise for quite a number of years now as well, and knows her as good as anyone could know a horse. And If she gets in the jump off, she certainly will be fast. She's very unbeatable at the meter 45 height, Chris.
Over the years, Rich has had some quite long-term partnerships. Prior to Flexible was McGuinness, another Irish horse who did quite well on and was quite quick.
Yeah, and Colgan Cruz is definitely never slow in the jump off. Very competitive at this height. You can see him going a little bit wide to 2, taking a little bit of time. He's seen a few people knock that front rail down. No problem for her.
Rich has the luxury of always being kind of on the front foot, so he can take a few more wider options as time isn't ever an issue.
He likes to keep his foot on the gas pedal. No problem with the Liverpool there. Asking her to come forward to that double. She has to back up a little bit at B&B, a little bit careful. She's going to have to read this skinny now, carrying a little pace down to it. Rich left a nice gap for her there, made that quite easy for her to jump clean. Excellent effort at the Oxer, number 8, the Longines Oxer. Second to last double, keeping her very straight through there. She's making this course look pretty easy so far as she turns to the last 4 stride.
And time again, not an issue.
Little rub.
Yeah. You can hear that all the way up from here over the Noel Asmar Oxer. And another
There we
one
go.
on 15,
Oh,
but
boy.
keeping it up. 79.43, but no faults at all. Rich Fellers aboard Colgan Cruz from the United States coming back. It's going to be a very, very quick jump off. 9 so far, Lynn. What do you think with those who have double rounds?
Well, I think you're going to have to go on the Rich Fellers train to win. Just not sure which one's going to go faster, Chris. On to the 25th horse in the order now, Chris.
Yeah, now we welcome in Dominique Schoen from Canada, Darcillion. Dominique's actually very, very local. Farm is about 15 minutes away from Thunderbird.
And Darcillion's a black 12-year-old gelding, owned by Caroline Schoen, which is her mother, and they do quite a nice business together, training business together, bring along some young horses. So Dominique will be looking for a clear round. I believe this horse competed in the Hickstead Derby, Chris, before she purchased it.
It may have, and she competed in the 2012 Youth Olympic Games. And so, as you said, she's had numerous Grand Prix rankings and, never really had a top finish. So this would be a nice little feather in her cap tonight amongst the other competitors in this field.
A little bit wide here to the 5 stride. This horse covers the ground quite easily, though, so I don't think she's going to have to worry too much about time. Coming down to the Longines double. Whoa!
Oh.
And just definitely the horse misread B there and didn't quite get up over that. Managed to get up over the skinny, no problem.
She looked like she recovered well, but what happened there?
It was just a bit funny. The horse jumped in and got a little bit low with its front end and just didn't quite read B properly and jump up in the air high enough. See what happens at this double combination here. No problem with the 2 stride. That was just an error. Perhaps it looked down at the fill. A little bit wide here into the last line. She might have a little bit of time faults too, just taking a little extra time to make sure she finishes off on a good note. Yeah, she's definitely going to have some time faults, Chris.
Yeah, amongst the 1 rail, so 4 jumping plus 2 time, a total of 6 faults for Darcillion and Dominique Schoen from Canada. Welcome our next rider, this one from Israel. This is Domino and Sari Gordon.
Domino's a 12-year-old chestnut gelding by Nassau, owned by Tomboy Farms.
Sari rides with Richard, otherwise known as Dick Carvin, and Francis Stivo Carvin. Another Southern California-based rider coming up to Thunderbird. for this new exciting Longines FEI World Cup Jumping North American League Series.
She had a fairly successful thermal this year, Chris, and I would say she's been showing successfully in the Grand Prix all over Southern California.
Yeah, she did well at Del Mar as well. Placed 6th and 7th on the 2 Grand Prix there, so those are nice tune-up to come up here and compete.
Excellent effort on the horse's part there, up the 5 stride, jumping the CWD Oxer. Coming to the meter 45 Liverpool, no problem at all. No, looked like it left the ground fine and just rubbed that rail with its hind feet. She's going to get a little bit close to the skinny. A really good effort on the horse's part there. I think she put in 1 extra stride more than she meant to, and the horse really gave her a nice effort there.
And you know, sometimes riders switch trainers. She used to ride with Richard Spooner, now riding with Dick Carvin. I guess as you grow up and you change trainers, you learn different things from different people.
Absolutely. Just trying to keep all of her options open. Really nice effort on the horse's part there. Coming to the last line on the course. Line hasn't caused too much of a problem.
Over the Noel Asmar Equestrian Oxer.
And a bit the tricky approach to the last jumps. You almost need to jump it on the angle that you're on. There we go.
No problems with the last jump. Just the 1 rail plus on the Liverpool. I think the only one to come down today, as well as the time fault. Total of 5 faults for Sari Gordon aboard Domino.
Still, I think she'll be
From
quite
Israel.
happy with that.
And we welcome in Gareth Graves aboard Babette, riding for Canada.
And Gareth Graves is riding the 9-year-old mare by Corland, owned by Jill Helena. It's a Dutch mare. He's been partnered with this mare for a few years now. Kind of been moving up and down the ranks, jumped a few meter 45s at Spruce Meadows. It's quite a great partnership this is turning into, so we hope all the best for Gareth here today.
Yeah, Gareth, as I mentioned, riding for Canada, but was actually born in Durban, South Africa, and moved here when he was quite young, and went to Vancouver Island, and now has found a nice home and created a nice business in Edmonton, Alberta.
This mare gets quite careful, so it's a nice attribute to have in a horse. Sometimes you have to keep the bravery up with it, so we'll see how she is at the CWD Oxer here. Hopefully she has no problem. Way up in the air over it. Excellent effort.
Now, as this is only Gareth's 2nd year competing at this level, you know, is it intimidating at all being with some of the company that is otherwise in this class?
Oh, I'm sure it is, but he knows this mare quite well, and they're actually quite a good partnership together, so I think he's feeling confident with his own riding and his ability to compete at this level. Nice ride away from the in-gate there. Little rub on number 8. Hitting from 9 AB straight over to 10 AB. You can see her kind of looking into that combination. Little stretch out over 10B, but no problem at all. Left all the rails up. I think he's going to be okay with the time. He's staying fairly efficient.
Yeah, most around 65 coming to that last line. Seemed to be okay. He's 6-7 seconds under. He should be good. Over 15. Gareth's going to be
There
happy
we
with
go.
this
He's
round.
gonna
Another
be
clear
thrilled.
round. 79.42. Gareth Graves and Babette from Canada on to the jump off, making it 10 coming back to compete in this Alan Wade built Maui Gym Open Welcome.
What a great result for Gareth tonight. He'll be thrilled. You can see his smile as he leaves the ring.
And we welcome back in Will Simpson from the United States of America, this time aboard Katie Riddle.
And Katie is a 15-year-old gray mare, so again, a little bit older, a little more experience. Will's also had multiple Grand Prix victories on this horse, so we'll hope that he goes clear on this just to create a little more interesting jump-off.
Will Simpson, one of those other riders with multiple rounds, already clean on the dude. Looking to meet with Carl Cook and Rich Fellers to bring back a couple in the jump-off.
And you can see it's interesting. He's taking a much shorter approach to jump one than some of the riders have taken. I think Katie gets pretty keen and sees the jumps, and you can see there she gave that number 1 a little bit of a rub. Likes to keep her on a short approach so she pays attention and stays focused on her job. This 5-stride, I think the riders have all really had a nice time with that line today, Chris.
Yeah, not much of a test to them thus far.
They've been enjoying riding that nice line. The horses with lots of scope, they just skip around this track here today, making it look very easy.
What did Alan say? Pop over all the fences quite easily?
That's right. They should just have a nice pop around. Very Irish of him. Really nice ride into 9AB there by Will. Make sure Katie concentrating here on 10AB.
Little rub on B coming out.
Turning to the final 4-stride. Oh, and again, a little like one of the earlier competitors in the course, just a little rub on that vertical rail with the hind feet. 4 faults.
Yeah, the one rail down on 11, leaving Will out of the jump off on Katie Riddle, but we will see him back aboard the on the dude and look to see us in the second round. And Katie Harris from the United States, saluting our sponsor from Maui Gym Sunglasses on Varco Dan Valahove.
And Warco is also a 16-year-old gelding by Darko, so we've seen quite a few Darkos in this competition.
Some very prominent bloodline patterns coming up over and over again.
Absolutely.
Katie didn't always ride. She actually wanted to play football, she said in her bio, but the boys wouldn't let her.
Well, good thing she went to show jumping then. Unfortunately, again, just got a little bit stopped up jumping into that end. The horse rubbed out the front rail of that oxer. Certainly it looks very powerful, this horse. Let's see if she's turning to the Liverpool here. Horse is really putting in actually a very nice effort for her here today. Excellent through the combination. And quite a bold ride to the skinny there, and the horse really paid attention and gave a nice effort there. She's turning back to number 8 away from the end gate. You can see she's giving a little extra leg to make sure he gets up in the air at number 8. And up through the 2-stride of 9AB. Really an unfortunate rail for her so early on in the course. Just got slightly distracted jumping into that end as she's turning to the 4-stride here. Little rub there. And then coming to the final meter 45 vertical on the course, the Maui Gym signature fence, no problem at all. So really a nice effort.
Yeah, incurring in the 1 time fault, 85.04, so just over the time allowed. And the rail on fence 2, 5 total faults for Varco van der Hove and Katie Harris from the United States of America.
And here's our Just World jacket back in the ring, Chris.
Yes, we welcome back Francie Stidwell Carvin for the United States aboard Lapsus du Lavoir.
16-year-old gelding by Animo, owned by Prentice Partners. Francie's had quite a multiple number of Grand Prix rides on this horse.
Is this one of her longer partnerships?
She's had this horse for a little while, and I think she's had fairly good results on it, so she'll be definitely looking for a good performance. You can see she's actually coming off the other lead. A lot of the people have been coming off the right lead. She chose to come off the left lead, a little different approach to the first fence. And the horse switched to the right lead anyways for her, almost there, so. There she's going to give herself, you can see a little bit the more experienced riders are giving their horses a little bit more time to get straight there to that number 2 jump and make sure that they read that front rail properly and stay away from it.
I think they've seen a few have it down. They definitely don't want to start the track off like that.
It's quite a nice effort this horse is giving her so far. It's very smart with his front end, this horse. Gets it right up out of the way. She's going to just fit that extra stride in, make sure her horse stays careful there at the skinny. She didn't want to have that down like she did on the other horse. You can see she has a belly band on this horse, Chris. Just to make sure you might be a little bit sensitive to her legs, so it just helps out a little bit.
Yeah, and a belly girth, I guess, when when they're on grass and they're corking, just a little extra protection.
Yeah, and the band for around for her legs. He's probably quite sensitive. He looks like he would listen to her leg well. And here we go, coming to the final line on the course. This horse is putting in an excellent effort so far.
Approaching the Maui Gym vertical. Time won't be an issue. Keeping it up clean.
There we go.
81.08, no faults at all. Francie Stido Carvin, Lapsus du Lavoir, coming back for our jump off. Making it a fantastic field in the second round of our Maui Gym Open Welcome.
11 for the jump off. It really is going to get fast.
You can see there on the replay, no problems over the Longines FEI World Cup Jumping North American League Oxer, as well as the Noel Asmar Oxer. Francie giving some big pats as she watches herself on the Jumbotron here. Next to go, Clapton and Kerry Roofer, another entry from the United States of America.
And Clapton is a 10-year-old stallion by Clinton, owned by Morningstar Sport Horses, LLC.
Clapton, new to North America, just recently being imported from Europe and started competing at Spruce Meadows actually during Summer Series in the FEI divisions. He was 5th in the meter 45 Summerland division, so he's used to jumping this height, and with jumping at Spruce all summer, he should be quite comfortable on grass.
Absolutely. And it's quite a beautiful horse. Clintons are actually known for that. So hopefully his beauty matches his talent here today.
Much like yours, Lynn. Much like
Oh,
yours.
thanks. Thanks so much, Chris. Nice effort at the horse on the horse's part at number 2. Right up over the CWD Oxer there in the 5 strides. Here you can see he's arguing with her. He's looking a little bit fresh here today. Cantering the Liverpool. Making the nice 6 strides down to the Longines double. Yeah, this horse definitely knows his job. Carrie's turning the corner here to the Longines Oxer away from the gate. This horse is really making this course look quite easy here today. Second last double, no problem at all in the 2 strides. Really read the FEI double, fantastic. She's trying to stay fairly efficient to stay under the time allowed. She's got a little bit of time coming down this 4 stride. And then she's, again, got to get up and out to this last vertical to jump it clean, to be our 12th in the jump off.
And we have it number 12 for Kerry Roofer and Clapton, 79.89, no faults at all. Really good time, and she's going to carry that forward. Big pats that look pretty easy for her, Lynn.
Absolutely. It looks like it's going to be a great partnership in the future. Sure made that track look very straightforward.
And our 30 Karash riding Coral Reef Carmel Z from the United States of America.
And Carmel Z is an 11-year-old gelding by Cento out of a Burggraf mare Zangerzeit. And Anne's going to be looking for an excellent performance from the 2 of them here tonight. Get herself started off on the right foot this week.
And it's quite comfortable at this level, the meter 45. She's in 2014. She was in the finals at the Delmore GGT series, which is meter 45 throughout the summer, and competed in 2015. They go down to WEF, and she won the 45,000, one of the WEF Opens.
And here we go, starting off. Excellent effort. And again, you can see her taking a little bit of time here, setting up for number 2, the big wide Oxer jumping into the corner. This horse so far is making this look very easy.
And obviously Anne is the wife of Vinton Crash, the partnership for the trainer riders at Coral Reef Ranch based out of California.
Excellent effort through the combination. Heading down to the skinny again. Multicolored rails. Really hasn't posed too much of a problem here today. This horse is definitely on its job, knows what it's supposed to be doing. Really nice effort there at number 8. She's setting him up a little bit for the combination.
Now going into 9AB, do they ever stay a little to the left as they know that they have to bend to 10AB?
I think hopefully she would like to think she was jumping in the middle of that. Get herself as straight as possible. Her horse might have had a little different plan.
Not really a planned strategy then.
Really nice effort. A little rub there on the horse's part. Oh, make sure he looks at the last jump. Look at that. There we go. Wow, this is going to be some jump off, Chris.
This is a good jump off. That's number 13 coming back. No faults at all for Ann Knight Crash and Coral Reef Carmel Z. Another efficient time, 79.42. Sources look like they really aren't pushing it too much in the first round, so I think we'll have a very, very competitive and fast jump-off round for the money for the $42,000. It's up for grabs in the Maui Gym Open Welcome here tonight. First of our 3 FEI classes in the new Longines FEI North American League jumping here in Langley. Next to go, another rider from the United States of America. We welcome in Tiffany Sullivan aboard Zelox T. Tiffany, more known for her partnership with her big chestnut Tristan. This is a new ride for Tiffany up here in the Grand Prix Leagues.
And it's an 11-year-old mare owned by Haley Farms, LLC. She's ridden this horse, I think, around a few Grand Prix so far this year, Chris, and this one gets a little bit keen. It's got quite a bit of blood.
Yeah, a little rub on one.
I think he'll be taking her around I think she'll be taking her around the course as the farther they go. Tiffany's going to be having to be quite strong to keep her contained.
And Tiffany standing 5'2" on a tall day, it could be a task for her.
And it's quite a lovely horse. It's really quite careful. Tiffany actually rides it quite well, but you can see just arguing. The mare really wants to go, and Tiffany's saying, just hang on a minute here. Get your legs up and out of the way for me. Yeah, really nice effort there.
Good job of getting her back for that skinny.
The horse actually seems really quite focused at the jumps, even though she's really in a hurry to get to them, which I guess is a very nice quality to have in a horse. Just arguing a little bit to that FEI combination. Worked out well for her. And I don't really think time's going to be a problem for this one.
No, I don't think so. This could be our fastest round. Little rub there on 11.
Ooh, and just a little reach. You know what? She didn't land exactly out as far enough as she wanted to, and that distance is a little bit forward, and she just didn't quite get up that line. That's really unfortunate for her.
Oh, first time our Noelle Asmar Oxer comes down. As mentioned, she was very fast, 75.08, one of our fastest 4 falters. So that will, unfortunately, because of so many double clean rounds, it won't get her any paycheck today.
No, but I think she'll be happy with that performance, and we'll see her back later in the week.
Reaching deep into her pockets for a treat. Reward her horse. And here's the first of 3 left to go. We welcome back Laura Jane Tidball, who we saw earlier, this time aboard Liam from Canada.
And Liam's a 9-year-old gelding by Coon, and I believe they bred this gelding, Chris, and they're really hoping for great things out of this pair, and Liam's just moving up. It'll be a good test. You can see LJ's over there showing him that jump number 2, just so he knows where he's going. Can concentrate on that oxer.
Yeah, Brent Lorboski did quite a bit of breeding with Icun, and this is one of their top prospects, coming out of the stallion. LJ taking the long way around.
Giving yourself a little bit of room, making sure he sees everything she wants him to see. He stays focused on his job.
And unfortunately, LJ not making it to the clock on time, so her time will start before crossing.
Oh, that's really too bad. Now she's really going to have to make up the time as she goes around the course. Nice effort there at number 2. So showing that jump definitely paid off for her. So it sure looks like he can jump this track no problem. She just has to stay a little bit tight now that she's having to make up for a few seconds.
So starting 3 or 4 seconds behind everybody, I mean, time hasn't been a major issue, but those that have taken some wide corners or added, they have come up with time faults.
Absolutely. So we'll hope she can stay efficient and stay under the time allowed. The horse is actually putting in a very good effort. LJ's giving him a great ride here tonight. A bit sticky there as he passed the gate. He has such a giant stride though, so no problem getting up to that 9 AB. Arguing a little bit into the FEI combination, but again, no problem.
Liam has a lot of loft to his jump. Spends a lot of time in the air.
He
That
does.
could kind of hurt her a little bit here.
Let's see how's she doing. Oh, it's going to be oh.
0.29 seconds over the time allowed. That not crossing the finish, not crossing the start markers before the 45 didn't run out, did come back to hurt her. As she kept all the rails up, but had the one time fault.
Oh, I think
Laura Jane Tidwell from Canada on Liam, and she's got to be disappointed with that strategy.
but really happy with the effort the horse put in there, and she rode him fantastic. We'll see her back on Friday. Nice warm-up class for them.
And cantering towards the start line is Susie Hutchinson aboard Zedento from the United States of America.
And Zedento's a bay 11-year-old gelding by Cargento. And if Susie gets in the jump off with this horse, I think everybody better watch out.
Susie, first time up at Thunderbird last year. She won 2 of the 5 major Grand Prix, and she was fast.
And I believe one of them was on this horse, if not both of them. And she can go really fast on this horse. This horse is super careful. Again, a great partnership she has with this horse. And there you can see he's got a little spunk bucking across the top end there, getting ready to tackle the rest of this course. He's playing with it.
Yep, he's already won 2 Grand Prix this year. Susie looking to make this one number 3.
No problem. Does the 9 stride so easy there to the skinny. Again, making sure she stays under the time allowed. It's getting revved up for the jump off.
Her intermediate time there coming across 8 was identical to the previous rider, Liam, who did incur 1 time fault. So she might
Really?
have to make up a little bit of time coming on the back half of the course.
Super nice effort. The horse is just playing with these jumps here today.
Lots of time for her to find her right approach to number 15, our Maui Jim vertical.
There we go.
And
Here
does
we
it right,
go.
81.50. Another clean round for the United States, Zedento and Susan Hutchinson, bringing 14 back.
Jump off.
It'd be interesting to see some of the strategy with those having 1 versus those having 2, and who uses this as an all-out class opposed to those kind of using it as an open welcome and a warm-up.
Right. I do think the competitors that we have, I think if they're going to choose to go in the jump off, they're all going to go for it. They're fierce competitors of this sport.
Well, last to go in our first round in our Maui Gym Open Welcome is Udam, ridden by Jill Blunt from the United States of America.
And Udam is a gray 14-year-old gelding by Giedam. It's a Dutch gelding. Jill's had great success with this horse. She's been competing at this level with this horse for quite a few years now. Again, a very solid partnership, and I think she'll definitely be looking to jump a clean round. There, a little kick out over jump 1. He's a bit sassy tonight. Setting him up really nicely to read that oxer at number 2. Makes the 5 strides again. I think that if you ask the riders, they would say that's their favorite line. They'd like to see that line in every class, Chris.
I'm sure Alan will take note of that.
They all wrote that very well. Just rode him up a little bit to the combination, made him extra careful there jumping out. Easily does the 9 strides, and the horse gives her a little extra effort over the skinny. Here we go. Coming to the last combination on the course. Really nice effort there. And I think her time's going to be okay.
Yep, time won't be an issue. Coming to the final 3 obstacles.
If he can leave these last 3 jumps up. Got to push a little bit in that 4 stride. And again, getting straight to the last jump here. She's lining it up.
Bit of a wide turn.
There we go. And she does it. So that
United States of America closing us off how she wanted. 15 coming now for the second round. Alan Wade and Joey Rycroft, both FEI accredited course designers, building the course here tonight, just doing some of the adjustments that's needed for the jump off. Any favoritism that they're going to show in their first rides compared to the last rides, obviously, as you mentioned before, the jump off doesn't matter as far as training. They're there to win, so they're all going to go fast. But does some strategy come into play?
I think the ones that have to go at the beginning of the jump off are really going to have to pull out all the stops because they know who's coming up behind them. And Susie Hutchison being near the end really is in an enviable position because she can see what everybody else has done with them all knowing she's coming up behind. So she might have a little edge there being later in the class.
Whereas Richard Spooner and Rich Fellers aboard Cristallo and Flexible respectively, faster horses love kind of closing it out with the win. They're going to have to really determine if they're going to go for it at the beginning or try to be a little more safe and get a good time in but not push it too much.
I don't think either of those know how to do that. I think they're both going to go for it and go for the win.
And how does the jump off course look for us then?
The jump off course today is 9A, so the first part of this combination.
You can see the crew there. I don't know if you've seen your monitor, but taking out 9B obviously.
And then heading straight on to number 1, which Alan Wade is just putting up a little bit higher.
Longines vertical.
Then to number 2, which I think will prove a little bit trickier in this round because they're going to be on a much different angle from going from 9A to 1 to jump number 2. So I think you might see number 2 fall down a little bit more often in this jump off.
Yeah, a lot of them took their time, really went out.
Challenge. 6AB.
So obviously where they're placing the T-Bird 2015 horse heads, does that leave any room to go inside or is that purposely placed so that they go outside?
Jump the other direction. And our time allowed is 52 seconds in the jump off, which I don't think is even going to come close, Chris. So 9A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6AB, and up to be quite a bit of a horse race.
Finished the opening day here at the Fort Summer is having globally on the sport is quite phenomenal with the money that they're putting in to strengthen and to create this new North American jumping league, as well as some of the other partnerships that Lynn and I were able to travel down to the the European model is really taking place. But here we have a beautiful 5-acre field decked out in Longines clocks, jumps, and signage. Beautiful evening here while they finish up, just putting the finishing touches. As you mentioned, most of the verticals Alan Wade has gone and adjusted. Looking at the field, 15 to go, and none of whom don't belong there. So I think he has a little bit of liberty in
jumping, and we'll hope this weather holds through the weekend, Chris. We'll hope those clouds that are supposed to come on Friday stay away. They can just stay away till Monday.
American League event at this leg in Langley. another 5 p.m. Pacific time, the Georgian Tidball Legacy Grand Prix at 5 p.m. And then obviously the big class coming at Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the $127,000 Longines Grand Prix, part of the opening leg of the West Coast North American League in this Longines FEI World Cup Jumping League.
Alan's having a nice time putting all the jumps up a hole or two, Chris.
Yeah, and it's one thing where the even though the warm-up ring is right beside, the riders obviously are focused. They're getting ready. They're not really seeing Alan what he's adjusted, so of course they obviously walk the jump off when they walk their first round. When you ride in, you're first or second to go in, and you see that the jumps have gone up a bit. Does that play a part in kind of your strategy at all?
You sure hope you've jumped big enough for your horse in the warm-up ring. I think the horses that are all in this jump off are definitely capable of reading the height of the jumps, and hopefully they.
In regards to the tracks that he's building, he said that as a course owner, he's fortunate to be building out here because, everywhere is sure footing, lush. Events, us being the first, so
Wow,
yeah,
that's great.
West Coast, I believe Sacramento. So some of these riders will definitely see him a few times during the course of this new.
Our first horse is just making his way up now, Chris.
Yeah, you can see actually, or you can probably hear more than see that the wind is picking up quite a bit. See our flags kind of going from east to west. They've shown in a lot of weather over the years, and beautiful 22 degrees and sunny is pretty ideal for an evening of show jumping here in Langley.
I don't think anyone's going to be complaining, that's for sure. Carl Cook's just left the warm-up ring, and he's just heading on his way up to the gate.
And you can hear the announcer saying we're ready. The course is set for Carl Cook, Ray Tech, Rainland Luxury. That was not a nice surprise, but a welcome in the jump off. Richard Spooner, Rich Fellers, obviously with Flexible and his other mount. Will Simpson coming back, as well as Car Anthony. Now, of any of those, are there? Obviously, there's some better known names, but watching the first round.
Game, she'll be quite good. I think Carrie Roofer's horse is quite a lovely horse, so I think she might step it up a notch. And Cara Anthony's never one to be missed, so I think it's going to be an excellent jump off.
Maui Gym Open welcome, Basimoto and Carl Cook from the United States of America.
Because there is a little bit of strategy. That start timer is very close to 9A there, Chris.
Yeah, it's might affect what track they come as. He kind of came off the right, but you got to kind of stay out a little bit.
There, he's much shallower to the number 2 jump. Still, really great effort by that horse. And he's going to ride up the 5, the lovely 5.
Yeah, still no problems
and
there.
They moved that Liverpool jump. He's going to gain some speed here into the double. You need to really hope that your horse backs up and reads that vertical. And he's going to turn a tight left and keep kicking here to number 15, the final jump on course, Chris.
Very quick jump off, and he sets a fantastic pace, 37.08. Carl Cook and Basimoto not really leaving any time for people to catch up if they see a different track. He was quite efficient, Lynn. What did you see?
I think he was quite efficient, you're right, but I think some of the more seasoned veterans will really find some places to shave their turns in and go a little. Great lead-off time, and definitely people trying. Give himself a little different approach here to 9A.
Doesn't look like he's really pushing it too much, approaching fence 1.
So 10 strides there to number 1, and he went a little bit wider than Carl did here to number 2. Probably just really wanting to make sure that he's careful there. And then again, up the nice 5 stride. You're going to see Source has a little bigger stride than the last one as well, so he might not look like he's going as fast.
Covering ground quite quickly.
And then turning here to the last jump, Maui Jim.
And you're right, his time is quite good. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite there. 38.47 would have put him in second place, but the last fence, the Maui Jim vertical, coming down for Baldira and Ray Texel from the United States.
Just a little bit too much angle there to the last jump, and unfortunately 4 faults is his total. So currently he sits in second, but I think we'll be seeing some clear rounds pop ahead of him.
And you see there as our next rider coming in, Audra Fleck Schneider from the United States, aboard Rainland WH Luxury, kind of taking a look at fence 15 just to kind of give her pony a little peek at what the last fence is going to take.
Make sure he understands the angle she's going to come to it at. Hoping to jump a clean round like he did. She's going to pick up a little bit of pace. There we go. Same number of strides as Ray to 1, staying a little bit tighter to jump number 2 than the last rider did.
Right along the rail
And
there.
Unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out for her. It just didn't quite get his front legs out of the way there at number 2.
So coming over the CWD Oxer carrying 4 faults.
Again, not quite as fast as the previous competitors. She's hoping here to finish up with the rest of the clean round just to go home with the 4 faults. And there, just showed him the angle, and it paid off for her. There we go.
And just the 1 rail, unfortunately, fence number 2. 4 faults to score, time of 40.23. Obviously, knowing that she had the 4 faults, she let up a little bit, but Audra smiling as she comes towards the in gate and talking over with her coach husband, Patrick Schneider.
That's right. She'll be happy with that result, I think, today.
Now here's one that is to beat Cristallo and Richard Spooner.
We'll see where Carl's time can be beat. I think Richard will show us where that is. That car must have heard that Richard was in the ring. And here we go. He's going to come off the left lead. Little more direct approach, I think he thinks, from 9A to 1 if he comes off the left lead. So we'll see if he does the same amount of strides or 1 less. Making sure he gets a good run here at 9A.
And the start mark is being so close to 9A, it really, they don't really have to do too much until they get to the fence and then turn it on.
And he did 9 strides there, and he's wowing out just a little. So he did 1 less stride there to number 1 than the other riders did. Very quick turn, tight turn back to number 3.
Little rub on 3 as Alan had upped that Oxer, probably up to about 1.50 meters.
And here we go, galloping nicely to the double combination. And here we go. You're going to see a very quick turn back here on an angle to the last jump.
And the time to beat is 37.08. He'll be way under that.
And got very lucky there at the
35.
last.
United States.
What an effort the horse put in at the number 15 jump. He was basically almost laying on his side as he jumped that. Wow. And there's Richard giving Cristallo his
Much deserved treats.
much deserved treats. Good.
Oh, Spooner got there sooner. We'll see if Fellers can get there faster.
Oh dear.
Aboard Flexible.
So, and he's giving him a little bigger wind up. He's going to already have his angle set up in his mind, and here he goes.
Carrying quite a bit of momentum.
Flexible likes it when the first jump's an oxer.
And Lynn counting out loud.
9 strides there. Oh, and again, see, the more experienced ones are giving them just a little more approach there to number 2. Again, very tight here to number 3. And then nice 5 strides. Oh, he just did 4 strides in that line. He left 1 stride out.
Obviously, looking at Richard Simon, know that he has to make it up somewhere. Very quick rollback. Time to beat 35.77, and he will have it.
He did it. Oh,
yes,
yeah,
35.31. They get faster and faster. The mighty Flexible and Rich Fellers from the United States setting the time to beat 35.31. Amazing. That's such an amazing combination. They know where they need to be, and he knows just how fast to go, Lynn.
And what an excellent effort by Flexible there, too, and a great ride by Rich. That was fantastic. Okay, well, here's the man to do it. Will's going to go up and show his horse. You know, he's thinking he has to risk it a little bit to number 2, I think, Chris. He's got to stay a little bit shallower than the other riders have.
Yep, having the opportunity. Rich Fellers took. We welcome in the Dude and Will Simpson from the United States of America.
Again, now everybody seems to be coming on this approach to the first jump and the jump off. Oh, just didn't quite. I think that buck just distracted him a little bit. Didn't quite get focused on that vertical. Too bad, because a really nice track to number 2, and he put in an excellent effort there. He's going to choose to do the 5 strides there, seeing as how being the winner's off the table.
Yeah. And you can see him taking his time getting the correct angle, going to the Longines double.
Just making sure the horse has a nice finish to his round here today. Setting him up for the next day in this ring. Really nice track to the last jump.
Fence number 9 for the Dude. South of the border in the United States. Car coming off. The only one recently to come off this lead.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? The ones that all want to go really fast came off the left lead.
Maybe that's indicative of kind of the approach she's taking to this jump off.
Here we go, and she's going to go on even a little different approach than the rest of them.
I guess even though you've watched a few, everyone, you do have your own plan.
Definitely.
And,
you know which lead your horse jumps off better.
Yeah. Just because you see it doesn't mean you deviate, I guess.
Ooh, and the horse had a little wobble up to there to number 1. And just that number 3 turned in a little bit tight and just didn't quite get where she wanted to. Galloping down to the 6AB now.
In and out of the Longines double, approaching our final vertical, the Maui Gym. Fence number 15 and clean over that. So just the one rail down, coming around that corner, like you said, the puzzle jump, fence number 3, pushing it out with the front, carrying 4 faults, time of 40.21 for Cara Anthony from the United States. You can see Cara is quite happy with that. I mean, I think even though she had that rail, this is a good learning round, and she was still quite quick.
She's sitting in 5th place right now.
So now we're waiting for some of our multiple riders. I believe next is Carl Cook, although Cara had actually moved up one, but after Carl is Rich Fellers on his second, so probably not going to move up.
Come through the clock tower. I think you're going to see him just try to do it on this horse. They're quite a good partnership. He knows this.
The other Richards.
So far, he's done 2 extra strides in that line. He's going to stay a little bit tidier here than some of the other riders. He's turning, though. I think we might see him turn up the heat here after this line.
Kind of take a wide approach to 3 and carry onward to the CW. Yeah, looking good, carrying no faults.
Nice angle there to the last jump.
Up and over, and we'll stop the time at 40.67. So putting Carl Cook into 4th spot at the moment aboard Tembla.
Good effort. Carl's going to have a great night tonight, I think.
Our sole Canadian in our jump off, riding Babette.
I think Garrett's going to go for a nice solid trip. Really hoping for a clean round to be in the top 8 placings, Chris. I don't think
Things besides getting a beautiful ribbon.
it's a fantastic prize. Definitely need them here today.
Fortunate for us, Maui Jim also outfits the announcers.
Really nice track there. Just had the back rails, like she just didn't quite reach across with her feet.
And you know, I guess that's part of the sport. Sometimes you put Babette.
Super.
And finishing well, as Lynn said, time of 40.3. Graves and Babette not going to challenge the leaderboard, and that will put them into 8th spot currently in our jump off round at our Maui Gym Open Welcome.
All right, here comes Rich again, Chris. Ready on Colgan Cruz. I'd say he's going to give her a bit of a run. Rich likes nothing better than being 1st and 2nd.
Rich likes nothing better than being 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Unfortunately, just the 2 horses. So, as Lynn mentioned, Colgan Cruz and Rich Fellers from the United States. The time to beat is his own aboard Flexible, 35.31. Rich does his customary girth check prior to the final round.
And he's going to gain.
Taking the same approach as he did with Flexible.
Rich Feller swoop. So one more stride than he did on Flexible, and she just didn't read that vertical right. He tried to give her a little bit of an angle, and just no luck. Doing the 5 strides there to the CWD Oxer. Gallop here to the Longines double. Here to number 15.
And knowing that he doesn't need to press for time, still quite a quick time, 37.76. But as Lynn mentioned, the rail coming down on the Longines vertical, keeping him out of the top spots, and obviously not challenging himself or Richard Spooner in those very quick times.
At the moment.
Next to go is Francie Stuyvesant Carbon, this time aboard Lapsus du Levoir.
Oh, and this horse really liked to be quick in the first round, so I'd say Francie has a good shot at getting a good prize here in the jump off today.
I believe it's about 10% back to Just World International. An amazing cause. If you haven't checked out Just World, please do so. Thunderbird is a proud partner of Just World. We try to do as many fundraising events as we can, just because we've been on their trips and we've seen where the money goes.
Wants a nice, solid, clear round to continue.
She will be in the top, under the top 4 if she can stay clean.
Really nice effort there the horse put into the CWD Oxer. Super jump out of the combination there, wow.
And a really quick turn back, 2:15, a tight
Really,
line.
really well ridden.
Nice
wow.
time, 38.35. That will put her into 4th spot right now behind the Richards and Carl for Lapsus du Levoir and Francie Stuyvesant Carbon from the United States.
What a nice effort that horse. Really, really jumped well in the jump off. Francie will be thrilled with that performance.
Watching the replay there. And quite a nice turn back to 3 over the CWD fence and onto the Longines double.
Okay, and here's...
And the horn goes. Now we welcome in Carrie Roofer aboard Clapton from the United States of America.
Oh, and she's definitely winding up, going full speed.
Looks like she wants to challenge.
That was a very fast line track there.
Fellers aboard and flexible.
This horse looks like it really can read the jumps well. It's looking like it really wants to be quite careful. Nice 5 strides there. She went a little bit wider than some of the other riders have done. Super effort. This horse will back up and jump that vertical really well, and she's going to turn and keep coming to the last jump. Very, very nice ride by Carrie. Wow.
Clock stops at 38.27. A beautiful effort. Currently ranks Carrie Roofer aboard Clapton into 4th position. Right behind Rich Fellers and Flexible, Richard Spooner aboard Cristallo, and Carl Cook aboard Basimoto.
Really nice round for Carrie. Seeing this new partnership and everything, she'll be absolutely thrilled with that.
Yeah, being a new partnership, I guess, if you don't have the experience in Grand Prix, cutting some of the corners, you mentioned she did go wide to the Longines double. That's just one of those things where you don't want to risk it. You just want to be comfortable. Is it, Lynn?
That's right. Just be a little bit careful there, and she'll be quite happy with being, she can stay in 4th place.
And we welcome another American rider, Ann Knight Karash, aboard Coral Reef Carmel Z.
And this horse really looked like it understood what its job was in the first round, and I suspect she's just going to... Nice effort by the horse there at 9A. Great gallop on to jump number 1. Taking it just a second here to get to number 2.
Almost the same approach as Rich Fellers did.
Nice tight turn to 3. That worked out well for her. She's going to stay a little bit snugger than the last rider. Still a little wider than Rich, perhaps. What a nice effort by the horse there to
Beautiful
jump that
jump,
clean.
way over.
And she keeps on coming to the last jump here.
A little bit wider,
There
but
we
still
go.
a very nice time. 39.18, no faults at all. Puts Coral Reef Carmel Z and Ann Knight Karash from the United States currently into 6th position.
Nice double clear round for her, setting herself up really nicely for the rest of the week. Okay, Chris, here you go.
Just 2 rides left, and we have Susie Hutchinson from the United States aboard Zedento. Susie and Zedento partnering in 2 victories here last year at Thunderbird, so she knows the footing, she knows the grass, and
She
field, so that time of 35.31 could be in jeopardy.
and almost the same approach as Rich, and she has the Dento stride quite open, and she is definitely going to go for it. It's the 9 strides there. She's going to stay fairly snug here to 2, I think.
Still keeping up a good pace, carrying 4.
A little bit wide here to 6AB. Going to give a great turn here back to the last jump.
And up and
Super.
over. Great jumping efforts. Unfortunately, the 1 rail down at fence number 2, the front of the Oxer, for Zedento, and Susan Hutchinson from the United States, currently ranking her in 10th spot. With our final entry riding into the ring, we welcome in Jill Blunt from the United States riding Udam.
And Jill gets a little help from Rich, so maybe he gave her a few pointers. We'll see if she can catch Rich today. She'll give it a good gallop, that's for sure. She'd
And-
like to be in the top.
Bigger gallop than it is quick. Is this course easier for a course like this, or is it really
Leaving 1 stride and leave some strides out.
the Longines double, approaching our last Maui Gym vertical?
Just gonna keep on kicking here. Nice effort there by Jill.
38.03, clock stops. $1,000 Maui Gym Open Welcome pays till 10th. And your final stats were winner, Rich Fellers and Flexible. Lynn, they do it again. How do you beat that combination?
It's unbelievable when Rich and Flexible are the rest.
The top 8, 7 of them were clear rounds. So, you know, obviously they were still comfortable even with Alan Wade, our course designer from Ireland, adjusting the heights. It wasn't the height was an issue. It's, you know, just a few of them had a better pace than others.
Exactly, yeah, and just a little bit different track and a little more experience, I'd say, on some of the parts. But I'd say everybody was fairly happy with their performance in the jump off.
So a rundown of the leaderboard. Your winner, Flexible and Rich Fellers from the United States, followed by Cristallo, ridden by Richard Spooner, also from the USA. Basimoto and Carl Cook. In 4th spot, Clapton, Kerry Roofer riding from the US. In 5th place, Francie Saibo Carvin on Lapsus du Lavoir. And Night Crash, the big smile on Coral Reef Carmel Z, coming in at 6th. Carl Cook again, second ride in the ribbons aboard Tembla in 7th. And Rich Fellers aboard his second mount, Colgan Crude. The only 4 falter in the jump off, but very quick time, 37.76. So a great opening round, Lynn. How does that set things up for Friday?
I think everybody that jumps going to be a great competition, getting everybody ready again for Sunday.
Yeah, and on a, you know, typical Alan Wade course was testy enough. There's only so much you can do with the height, with, you know, the quality of athletes in this course, but nothing that tricked anybody, nothing that scared anybody. So I wouldn't think that anyone that competed tonight wouldn't go in the next leg of the Longines FEI North American League jumping here in our second FEI competition, which will be Friday night at 5.
Exactly. Looking forward to it.
And as mentioned before, the top 8 in this class, our Maui Gym Open Welcome, will get fitted with custom Maui Gym sunglasses, which the riders absolutely love. And you can see a lot of them actually wearing Maui Gyms. It's a very sporty frame big into golfing, big into equestrian now. Riders really, especially in this sunshine in the late afternoon, it's easy for them to decipher between the shadows when approaching the fences.
I think it was a great competition, great course. I think everyone's going to be excited for the Friday to come around.
Custom designed Maui Gym T-Bird cooler, rich fellers and flexible. And another extremely quick Richard right behind him, as usual. One of them is always behind the other, it seems. Aboard Cristallo. Carl Cook having a couple rides, did really well in our opening class. Bazimoto is top. A couple. Fifth. And Night Karash. You try to progress towards the final class of the week, and obviously it's a big deal here. Starting off the West Coast League and the Longines FEI World Cup Jumping League, 127,000 up for grabs. Brought to you by Longines on Sunday. This is a great start for Rich Fellers and his campaign to get some points in the West Coast League.
Absolutely.
See the ribbon presentation there. Jane Tibble, our president and tournament director with our Maui Gym sponsors, as well as the presenters, Overseas Horse Transport, which I believe that they gave credit towards shipping to and from Europe, whomever the top placing European horse would be. So that's kind of a nice twist and a nice prize. That's always welcomed, I know, when cost of shipping horses to and from Europe can be quite pricey. Rich, first, quite chatty to the sponsors, which is so great for the sport. He's such a great ambassador. He always is a top competitor, and really believes in the FEI system, and is such a great supporter of Thunderbird, and is so excited that not only is the Longines North American World Cup League here, but also the Farisia Nations Cup next June here at Thunderbird Show Park to start.
That'll be very exciting.
Mm-hmm. That's placed perfectly right before Summer Series at Spruce Meadows, so looking forward to all the teams coming and competing on this beautiful field. Well, as we watch a few more of the ribbon presentations, Lynn, any final thoughts? And watch our next leg of the North American World Cup Jumping League. It will be our George and Diane Tibble Legacy Foundation Grand Prix, $42,000, and a possible qualifier for the Sunday finale. So, from Lynn Masek and myself, Chris Pack here at Thunderbird Show Park, we appreciate you joining us, and we will see you in a few days, Friday night, 5 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your fourth place award winner, Carrie Roofer, riding the Morningstar Sport Horses entry. Racing amateur. Riding for the Prentice Partners. fifth here, of course, representing Just World International. And your sixth award to Ann Knight Karish for the Coral Reef Ranch. It's Coral Reef Carmel Z taking home sixth. We'd like to thank our proud sponsors and, of course, representatives from Overseas Horse Services, Kim Hoover, and, of course, representing Joe Medeiros. Just another reminder to our top 8 riders after the victory gallop here, please join us in the VIP area to meet our sponsors and get fitted for your Maui Gym sunglasses. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our champion and lead us off in a little gallop of victory. We present to you the winner of our Maui Gym Open Welcome Jumper class presented by Overseas Horse Services. It's Rich Fellers and Flexible. Welcome Jumper class presented by Overseas Horse Services. All 8 receiving brand new Maui Gym sunglasses from Madison, Emma, and Joe as your champion. Afternoon, the CSI 3-star Maui Gym Open Welcome Jumper class.